after me. Go fill out the application. You around here laying hands on your bills. God, make a way with my bills. Make a way with my. God saying, why are you crying out to me? Stop spending all your money. Let me keep going. I love this point. Secondly, the text Taylor teach us, God will be your, listen, God will be your guide and your guard. God will be your guide. And this is one of those points where I wish I had a whole church. I'd take about 35 seconds and we'd get a good shout with the glory button, because that's a shout right there. God will be your guide and your guard. You better hear what I'm telling you. God's got his part. Just do your part. That's why he told Moses, why are you bugging me? That's really, if you want a translation of the text, God really said to Moses, why are you bugging me? What? Just do your part and I'll do my part. And look at what God says to him. God said, I'm going to confuse the enemy. And I'm going to use my presence in a cloud and a fire to make things happen. Watch this. God employed a communication method that was often used by large traveling groups in the ancient world. History tells us that armies that were marching over long distances needed a way for the troops, leading the way to communicate with the troops bringing up the rear, so that the leaders of the army would light a heap of burning coals to carry at the front of the march. And at night, the fire from the coals provided a light that could be seen for miles. But during the day, they would pour water on the coals, putting the fire out. But they had so many coals that when they poured the water on the coals, it produced a cloud of smoke and steam. And the armies were traveling through unfamiliar territory sometime, and all they would have to do was march towards the beacons of light or smoke in order to stay on course. Don't miss what I just said. This was something armies would do. It was as if God was saying, I'm your army, yes, and I'm your leader. Yeah, y'all didn't get it. It was as if God was saying, I am the Lord of hosts, and because I'm the Lord of hosts, I've got fighting angels and warring angels who are operating on my behalf to lead you where you need to go, to guard you from going back to where you don't need to be, to protect you on the journey. All you got to do is let me lead you with the light. There's an old Swahili proverb that says, a sinking vessel never needs navigation. Y'all don't even get to shout in that. In other words, as long as I'm being navigated, that's a sign I ain't sinking. I may not know where I'm being navigated to. I may not agree with the navigation. I may not understand the navigation. But the fact that I'm being navigated means I am not sinking. As a matter of fact, you ought to write in the comments right now, I am not sinking. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what God is up to. What God is doing is not making sense, but I am not sinking. You need to know, child of God, that there's no need to intervene in a hopeless situation. So if God is guiding, that means I'm not sinking. If God is making ways, that means I'm not sinking. Watch the text. A cloud guides them. Ooh, it's finna get good. Ooh, it's finna get good. Then verse 17 says, the cloud moves. Jesus. Now the cloud, we know in the Bible, a cloud represents the glory of God. And all this time, the cloud has been in front of them. But now it moves behind them, Jesus. In front of you is your future. So that the glory, God, this is future. Jesus. But now the glory shifts, not just to be in your future, but even be behind you. Y'all didn't get it. God is putting you in a position. Count. Somebody just got up and ran in your backyard. Somebody just lifted your hand. Somebody just screamed uncontrollably on your job, because God said, I'm about to shift your life in such a way that what was behind you used to scare you, but now what's behind you is going to shout you. He said, I'm about to shift your life so that you can get me glory over what's behind. Sometimes you've got to thank God for the things behind you that should have killed you, but yourself. Who am I talking to that can give God a quick praise in your house or on your job or in your car? Who am I talking to that ain't ashamed all by yourself to start giving God a glory shout for the stuff that's behind you that should have killed you, but you can say, I survived it. See, let me tell you what a devil messes up and where the devil gets upset is that the devil, good God, gets upset that you have the nerve, the unmitigated gall, the audacity, and the sagacity to shout over what's behind you. You've got the nerve to shout over everything you've come through. You've got the nerve to give God praise for what's behind you. You can see God's glory in what's behind you. Somebody needs to shout right now. Shift of the cloud. Oh, this gets good to me. When you go down to the end of verse 20, watch the text. Now it says there's confusion in the camp. I need you to read it so you don't think I'm making it up. This is going to blow your mind this time. It says in verse 20, coming down between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Look at it. Coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel, so that all night the cloud brought darkness to one side, light to the other, so that neither went near the other all night long. Y'all don't know when to shout. Remember, the Egyptians are chasing them. Let me give you the geographical picture. Red Sea in front, Migdal Mountains on the side, which means the Egyptians know exactly where the Israelites are, because there's nowhere for them to escape. Ooh, this is finna get good. But because God has become a guard, preach Rudolph McKissick. Now, the Egyptians know where the Israelites are, but can't get to them. God help me in here today. They know where they are, but they can't get to them. Do you know why some folk can't stand you? Because they see you, but they can't touch you. They see you, but they can't destroy you. They watch you, but nothing they did is going to be something from being able to get to you. They know where you are, but they can't get to you. It's the Lord. It's the Shekinah. It's the glory. It's the angels warring on your behalf that will not let people get the best of you. God goes from being a guide to being a guard. He gives them a shield and tell them to get a good night's sleep. I'm done. Here come the real shout. Y'all know I be trying to be calm sitting in this chair with this headset on. But here come the shout. Here's the last thing I need you to celebrate. God brought me through what should have killed me. God brought me through what should have killed me. We often say these words. They crossed the Red Sea. You better be careful throwing pity parties because of what you're going through. Because what this text suggests is that if God is guiding you, you're only going through on your way to coming out. Preach, boy. You're only going through on your way to coming out. You're only going through on your way to, I don't know what you're going through, but God sent me to tell you today that you're not going to die in it. You're going to go through it. You're not going to lose in it. You're going to go through it. And you're going to go through it because the miracle is waiting on you on the other side. Watch the text. Go back to verse 29 of this verse and look at the go through process and go ahead and get your own shout. What they went through, watch this text says, that there was walls of water on both sides of them. Y'all ready for your shout? Water on the left, water on the right. Y'all ready for your shout? That what they went through was all around them, but wasn't touching them. People see you going through and can't figure out why it's not getting to you. The answer to what happened is in this verse. The answer to how it happened is really in verse 8 of the next chapter. Here's why everything around you can't get to you. God is holding it up to show you off. Y'all didn't hear me. People see you going through and they see you giving God praise. They see you posting positivity on social media. They see you happy and they call you fake. They call you a holy roller. They say you phony. They don't know. You don't like what you're going through, but you understand that the reason you going through it without it getting the best of you is because God is holding it up so he can show you off. You got hell on your right. You got hell on your left, but God is holding it up. God is holding it off so your enemies can see you going through without it ever harming you. And somebody ought to shout right now that God is holding some stuff up. He's holding some stuff off. He's making folk watch you go through. Here's the shout today. God taught you how to go through with class. God taught you how to go through with dignity. God taught you how to go through with a smile. God taught you how to go through with a shout. And here comes the shout. They go through on dry ground. Can I tell y'all, for me, what the big miracle is? The big miracle in the text for me is not the Red Sea parting. The big miracle for me in the text is not them walking through with the walls on both sides, but the big miracle to me is that they came through on dry ground, because the implication of that is God did not just stand the water up, but he dried the sand up. Y'all didn't get it, because if the sand ain't dry, you sink in the sand. The shout to me is that when I come through this, you will not be able to look at me and tell what I came through. I want to talk to somebody real quick who can say, I've been through it, but you don't know it. I came through it, but you don't know it. I caught hell, but you don't know it. I caught racism, but you don't know it. I caught misogyny, but you don't know it. I lost my job, but you don't know it. I went through divorce, but you don't know it. I couldn't pay my bills, but you don't know it. I got my house foreclosed, but you don't know it. That Negro ain't helping me raise these kids, but you don't know it. I ain't getting child support, but you don't know it. And the reason you don't know it is because God dried everything up so that when I came out on the other side, nobody would know what I've been through. It's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they came out of the fiery furnace, they didn't smell like smoke. Their hair was not singed. Their clothes were not burned. Because got a way of bringing you out. Been through. I want to speak to somebody who can say, folk, look at me, and they don't have a clue everything I've been through. I want to shout somebody who can say, if folk only knew all the hell I caught, if folk only knew all the struggles I had, if folk only knew all the nights I couldn't sleep, if people only knew all the medicine I had to take, if folk only knew all the abuse I had to suffer. But God's got a way of bringing you out so that nobody knows but you and God. And folks see you shouting and think they know what you're shouting about. But sometimes you got to tell them, this is a private shout for what God did for me that nobody knows about. I'm sorry, y'all, but God has shown me that my children are coming out. I, yes, am coming out. And when we come out, nobody is going to know that if it had not been for the Lord on my side, where would we be? What would we do? How could we live? How could we shout? How could we smile? But if it had not been for Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Mekadesh, Jehovah Shalom, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Rafika, my mama's God, my daddy's God, my grandmama's God. If it had not